raise your hand and you'll be called up to speak. Meanwhile, on the chat box, you can share your name and subject. Then you tell us what your expectations are. What do you want to gain from this session? And if possible, we put off our video. We should stop it so that we can gain connectivity, high connectivity. You can see my video is already shaking. Okay. We are going to introduce to you the panel, and the person to do that will be none other than Mr. Sam Canisius, who is the president of the Cameroon Fulbright Alumni Association. He will be assisted by Mr. Foban Emmanuel, who is the Secretary General of the Cameroon Fulbright Alumni Association. Both persons will introduce the program to all of us, to all the participants. Meanwhile, we are reminded that we are on the mentorship program, a 3-day mentorship program that will be taking place, and today is day 1 of the program for Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program. And we wish all the teachers a happy stay, and we hope your expectations are met. Thank you once more and welcome. I am Tabor Delphine, a Fulbright alumna from the University of Nevada, Reno, and Spring Cohort 2022. Thank you once more, and I introduce to you the president of CAFTAL, Mr. Sam Canisius. Over to you.
Thank you, Delphine, the moderator. Thank you, everyone that is connected this evening to the Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program 2023 Application Mentorship Program that has been organized by the Cameroon Fulbright Alumni Association. Before I begin, I don't know, I will have to plead on your indulgence that when I look at here, I see we have 16 participants connected. So do you think we should give more time, or we just write on? I think we should get the opinion of others. Can we give like 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes, or how do we do? The floor is open.
Well, let me make a quick suggestion. We may be in for quality, maybe in for quality, we may be in for people who are committed. And those that are committed, I think we need to be respectful of their own time as well as on time. So, and then we're getting this recorded as well. So I think we get moving. If we were in the US, you know, the boss will not be waiting for you for 5-10 minutes. I'm just saying so. Thank you.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Sure, Jimmy, that's great. We want to believe that the turnout now is as a result of connectivity, or rather traffic jam because of the downpour of rain this evening. But we hope as we move on, more will join us. And why not? We have three sessions and record it as well. So no, let's begin. Those who are on board are as important as those who are joining.
Okay, so thank you, James, for that quick reaction. I think it works. So for a couple of minutes, the Secretary General and myself, we will drill participants here to actually understand what is the Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program. What are the benefits? What are the benefits that they stand to get as alumni or participating in this program? And as well, we'll let the participants to know more about the Cameroon Fulbright Alumni Association. So I will begin by indicating here that because many people have inboxed me and others have asked, what is T, what is FT, what is this all about? So actually, Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program is just one of the exchange programs, because there are as many as we cannot list now. Exchange programs between the government of the United States and that of Cameroon. So it's actually a legal program, because I have seen somewhere where I shared this link and someone came under and wrote there that it is a scam. I just laughed. I said, no, this is an official program, which is a professional development program, which is for secondary school teachers, for they travel to the United States if they are selected for about 6 weeks, and they equally have the opportunity to extend their stay for another 1 month when granted by their host university. While in the United States, T fellows have that opportunity to be hosted in a university from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where they do leadership courses, and then Thursday, Friday, where they do they teach, they do teaching practice in a US secondary school, and over the weekends are reserved for excursions. So the Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program is that program for all secondary school teachers. They can participate in this program in order to update and upgrade their skills. You have lesson planning, curriculum development, and many other programs that we are going to meet alongside the program. So that is the Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program that we need to understand what we are going in for. So it is not a scam. It is actually one of the exchange programs. So participants that take part in this program, when they finish the program in the US, they are expected to come back to their home country for at least a period of 2 years, so that they can share what they have learned with their colleagues within their schools and other communities. They identify some of the problems or some of the challenges within their communities, and they can also seek fundings. I've already moved into some of the benefits of the program. So as the first benefit that the program will offer is that it is almost free. You as secondary school teachers, you just need to do the application. You just need to spend your time and fill out this application, because your travel to the US is free. That is your air tickets, your air flight is paid. Your air flight, then your stay in the US is also paid. So you actually have absolutely nothing to bother about expenditure. So that's one of the benefits, that what you need to do is just do the application, and the US Embassy and US Department of State, they will take charge of your transportation and other travel logistics including your research allowances and many other things. The second benefit of the Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program is the fact that when while in the US, you have that opportunity to learn new teaching methods, instructional technology. You teach in the US, so you work with a partner teacher, and then you have this leadership development skills. So actually, it helps to update and upgrade your skills, so that when you come back home, you are now different. You become a teacher leader. It prepares you to become a teacher leader and to face the challenges of your school, the challenges of your community, and the world at large. So, and the next benefit of the Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program is at the level of connectivity. It connects you to the world beyond. So you see, you are going to meet teachers, you are going to meet other experts and other lecturers from across the world and other parts of across the world. So you are going to exchange, and you are going to establish those links, And when you return back to your country, you will continue to work in partnership with those people, those schools, and many other institutions that you have established your links with. So it actually gives you it opens you up to the world. And just to add now about and many others that we are going to come back, Emmanuel will be coming in any moment. Let me just talk a bit about the Cameroon Fulbright Alumni Association. So actually, we are here this evening thanks to this platform that has been set up by the Cameroon Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program Alumni Association, CAFTAL, which is just an association of Cameroonian teachers who have participated in this tea program in the United States and have returned back to the country, and they saw the need to work together as a team, because one of the values we learned in the United States was working as a team. And working as a team, we now saw the necessity for us coming together under an umbrella of an association. And being under an association, it also gives us that legality. So we are actually working in legality according to the Cameroonian laws and customs. So in Cameroon, it is as far back as 2014 that we had the first persons participating in the Cameroon Fulbright in this Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program. And since then, every year, approximately 2, 3, and 4 Cameroonians are being chosen to travel to the US to take part in this program. And when they come back, so they have that goodwill to join the associations, so that together we can begin to promote the good values and cultures that we learn in the US. We say information is power. If we stay in our small corners individually, the impact will not be so strong. So that is just the Cameroon Fulbright Alumni Association, just a group of teachers who have traveled and have come back. So we continue to work together as a team to see how we can also empower more and more secondary school teachers like we are doing now, so that they can participate in this program and they come back and also join this team. So Delphine, basically that is what I can say for now. Emmanuel will probably add something on that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for that brief summary of what Fulbright is all about and what CAFTAL is all about as well. A take-home message from that is all these associations and programs, they gear towards community development. So are you ready? Are you that teacher who wishes to do some community work, who wishes to see into any of your communities that exist and see what particular impact you can create in that particular community, your classroom community, your school community, where your school is situated, and so on and so forth? We hope we are here for nothing but business and real business. So over to Emmanuel.
All right, good evening, Delphine, and thank you so much for giving me the floor. I'll continue from where the president left off. First of all, introduce myself. I'm called Foban Emmanuel Tembo. I'm a chemistry teacher and a member of the Fulbright, a fellow of the Fulbright C program. I teach chemistry at the GBHS Etukebe, and also serve as the Secretary General for the Cameroon Fulbright C Association. Okay, the President, Sam, he has already introduced the program, and I won't go back to that. I'll focus more on talking about the eligibility criteria for this program. Now, the program is actually meant for secondary school teachers, which means that those who are applying for this program must be teachers teaching at the secondary school level, and they must also be full-time teachers. That means teaching is the thing that you should be doing, or teaching should be your primary activity, and you should be teaching at the time of application of the program. And the program also accepts teachers of the English language, teachers of English as a foreign language. That means those who teach Anglais, It accepts mathematics teachers. It accepts science teachers. That means all the sciences, chemistry, biology, physics, geology, and so on and so forth. It also accepts social science teachers, special education teachers as well. So to apply for this program, you must be a secondary school teacher. Secondly, to apply for this program, you must hold at least a bachelor's degree or an equivalent of a bachelor's degree in the United States. For example, if you have maybe a DPS 1 and you don't yet have a bachelor's degree, you have not actually had a bachelor's degree, so it might be difficult for you to apply for this program. So to apply for this, you need a bachelor's degree, which is an equivalent of 4 years of full-time university studies. And you must also have been teaching for at least 5 years. That means if you have not taught for up to 5 years, you cannot apply for this program. And the teaching experience does not include your teaching practice. Maybe after you graduated from the teacher training college, you did, or before you graduated, you did teaching practice. So that is not considered as part of the experience. So the number of years that is considered is your teaching experience after you graduated from the training school. And the program is also for teachers who are teaching in schools that serve children of ages maybe from 12 to 18 years, which is okay. And another condition is that the applicants must reside in their countries where they are teaching at the time of application and even before they travel. So these are some of the eligibility criteria for the program. Generally, school administrators like principals, vice principals, discipline masters, and those who teach maybe in those who teach in the or those who do private teaching, they are not qualified for this program. So only those who teach full-time and those who teach in schools in Cameroon are qualified to apply for this program. And as the president said, after participation in this program, the teachers are expected to return to their country to be able to transmit what they have learned. That's why it's actually called an exchange program. And it is expected that the participants should be able to take university level courses or graduate level courses. That's why the minimum criteria is a bachelor's degree for application for this program. So that is it about the eligibility criteria. I know some of you might have questions. You can just type your questions in the chat, and as we progress, we'll try to answer some of them. So I'll hand over the microphone to Delphine to continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Emmanuel, for that brief summary. I received a message from an applicant who asked a very, very interesting question as to whether is there an opportunity to leave and to stay back after the program, 6 weeks program. Can you just stay back in the United States? I want to remind us that if you are here and your purpose is using this program as a passport to go to the US, no, you are in the wrong place, because you must be a community developer. You have to be engaged in community work. Therefore, you can't go there and don't come back for your community. That's why one of the eligibility criteria is you must be present in your own country. Thank you very much. Remember, our purpose for this session is to review the application form and see how possible we can make it easier for you to understand and go through. And in that light, we are going to introduce the first
Delphine?
Yeah, Sam.
Yes, one quick intervention to the person who sent that question. The answer to that question is yes. I think it is very okay that after the 6 weeks program, I think participants have the possibility to spend one additional month, but that has to be granted by the host university. And there is actually a form that the participant has to fill, because there are additional things that will not be covered by the program. So at that level, immediately the program has to end. So any living costs, general logistics and everything will no longer be covered down. I mean, just to respond to that question.
Okay, thank you, Sam. I believe the person meant that he should just stay forever.
No, it's not possible. I think maximum is 1 month extension period.
Okay, maximum thank you for the
1 month extension period. And it is also important for participants to know that the minimum qualification is the bachelor's degree, but our DPS one is an equivalent to the bachelor's degree. So those who don't have the bachelor's degree but have DPS one have eligibility. Are fully qualified for that.
Okay, we hope we are taking note of the specificities of the program. We now introduce the first speaker, who is a Fulbright T. He was the first Fulbright T alumnus, Robert Kenfak, from the University of Massachusetts. Over to you, Robert, an English language and French teacher. Robert, hope your connection is good.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. 5 on 5.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for giving me the floor, Delphine. My name is Robert Kenfak. I'm an English and French language teacher. I attended the Fulbright program in the University of Massachusetts Lowell. That was in 2020. And yes, that was from January to March. So yes. Today I'm going to talk to you about the program, and most especially I want to talk about part 1 of your application. As Delphine said, we're not wasting time. We want to talk about part 1 of the application, and part 1 of the application has to do with your cohort of preference, your name, your country, your place of birth, your gender, the pronouns you like to be used for you, the number of years of teaching at a secondary school, the date of birth, the contact information, the school information, and the teaching discipline. So those are generally what you're going to have. Yes.
Can you mute yourself, please?
Yes. So can I continue, Delphine?
Yeah, continue.
Yes, thank you. So what you have is this, and you start by indicating your T program cohort preference. Actually, there are 2 cohorts. Please, I don't know, can we mute everybody and then we start again, please? Is it Obase Joshua? Can you mute yourself, please? Yes, I was like, you start on the application form. The first thing you have is your T program cohort preference. There are 2 cohorts. There is the spring cohort, which is January to March, and then there is the fall cohort. The fall cohort is September to November. So you choose. There are here you've got 3 choices. Either you choose spring, or you choose fall, and then or you choose that you have no preference. Yeah. I would advise candidate here to choose that they have no preference, except they have a problem with cold, because people generally would avoid the January cohort because it's too cold in the United States, it's snowing, and that's why they may not like the January cohort. But I would just like you see no preference if you don't have any problem with cold, because actually when they select you, then I mean you can select the fall cohort and it is full, and then you reduce your chances of being selected. Whereas if you had chosen no preference, they would have selected a cohort for you. If you happen to be selected, they would just put you anywhere that you feel, not like without any constraint of you must go only in spring or in fall. So it's better you choose no preference there. Then the second thing that you have to fill on the form is the name. And remember, their own ways of filling names are quite different from ours, because they will have first name or given name. So my name is Robert Kenfak, for example. As I'm Robert Kenfak, my first name is Robert, and then my family name is Kenfak. But there are people who might have more than two names, like you see somebody, maybe Kenfak Ona, Robert Roger, for example. Then you're the one to decide, because on our IDs, on our birth certificates, we do not have any middle name. So you're the one to decide whether you have a middle name or not. But I would advise you to choose. Your name is Kenfak, the first name is Robert Roger, and then your family name is Kenfak Owona, for example, but you have no middle name. That depends on you. You may also decide to choose that your first name is Robert Roger, and then the middle name is, the family name is Kenfak, and the middle name is Owona. That depends on you. But I would prefer you choose first and family names, because we don't have any middle name here, but it depends on you the way you want to put it. Yes, but let's be clear. If you're called Kenfak Owona Robert Roger, remember that Robert Roger is your first name, not Roger Robert. No, put it in the order that it appears on your birth certificate or on your ID card. Yes, and then your family name will be Kenfak Owona, not Owona Kenfak, because that is actually a cultural issue here, and people might have problems filling this. And I've seen students missing their exams because they were not able to fill this area correctly. So, and then your title here, when they talk about title, is where are you Miss, Mrs., Mr., or doctor, for example, or professor. Yes, that's your title. Professor, doctor, Mr., Mrs. Yes, those are the titles. It may be that you also bear the title, His Royal Highness, that depends on you. But it's Mr., Mrs., Doctor, Professor. Yes, that's your title. I'm moving to the next one. And if you have any questions, you might want to type your questions in the chat box, and then we're going to answer them at the end of this presentation. I think Delphine or any other person will be taking note of the question. So the country. Here on the country, you've got country of citizenship and then country of legal residence. Okay, your country of citizenship, I am a Cameroonian, so Cameroon is my country of citizenship. If you are a Senegalese, then Senegal is your country of citizenship. If you are a Chadian, Chad is your country of citizenship. You were born there. Yes, but I may be a Cameroonian, and I'm not living in Cameroon. So I live maybe in Nigeria. So my country of legal residence will be Nigeria. Remember, it is written legal residence, meaning do you have authorization to live in that country? So I may be Kenfak Robert. I'm a Cameroonian, which is my country of Cameroon being my country of citizenship, but I work and live in Nigeria, and I have all my documents legal document of residence in Nigeria, then my country of legal residence will be Nigeria. Great. And then from country, we move to place of birth. Here you've got city, town of birth. Yes, all of us know where we are. I mean, if it is your village, don't forget to put that it's your village, because you're feeling the way it is on your birth certificate. So if you were born in Tinto, don't say Tinto is a village, it's not a town, it's a city. Put it the way it is on your birth certificate. You were born, if it is written there that you were born in BMRC and they didn't specify Yaounde, then your city or place of birth or town of birth will be that it is BMRC. You're not going to put Yaounde, except they ask you because you're feeling it exactly the way it appears on your document, birth certificate, national identity card. So your country of birth, where you were born, yes, actually great. And I like this one because there is a little difference between the country of birth and the country of citizenship. Okay, I was born in Cameroon. I'm a Cameroonian, but now I won the DV lottery, and then I'm now in the US, and the US is now my country of citizenship. But it's not my country of birth. I was born in Cameroon. So what's your country of birth? So here it makes things clear that up here, when they were talking about country of citizenship, you may also be a Cameroonian, you're born in Cameroon, but like you have the European, you are a French citizen, for example, because you got the nationality, then that's your country of citizenship, which is different from your country of birth, which is Cameroon. Then enter your date of birth as listed on your passport and other photo identification. So here you're actually just going to put it the way it is on your passport. Remember, on most of the forms which are from the US, you're going to start with the month, then the day before the year. So they have the month, the day, and the year, which is a bit contrary to what we have on our documents, where we start from the date, get to the month before we are moving to the last one, which is the year, and which remains the same in all the documents here. So yes. Yes, after that, you move to the next area, which has to do with gender and pronouns. Yes, gender. Yeah, remember that there are, in the US, the notion of gender is quite varied, and there are a lot of things. Yeah, you know, the binaries, the non-binaries, but mostly for us here, we do have male or female. If it is male, you write male. If it is female, you write female. But if you think that you are of the other type, because there is always a place where they will ask you maybe whether you don't want to say it, or you say non-binary, you're neither that one, male or female. Yeah, but for us generally we just have male or female. And then for the pronouns, if you are male, then your pronouns are he, his, him. The pronouns for your gender, if you're male, he, his, him. He, his, him for the male gender in Cameroon, but like, and everywhere. If you're a female, then the gender will be she, her, hers. Yes, she, her, hers, for example. Yes, that is the, those are the pronouns you're going to put at that level. But if you're non-boundary, you say they, their, them. You say they, them, their. They, them, their. If you feel that you're not bound, you're non-bound binary. Yeah, but that depends on you. It's individual. Oh yeah. Oh. So I discussed this one already. So the number of years teaching at secondary school, yes. At the beginning of this session, Sam talked about that. He said, we don't count the years of teaching practice, please. So you count the years you actually started teaching after your teaching practice. For those who went to the teacher training colleges, yes, it's after your graduation when you actually were posted to your school, that is when you start counting. But there are people from private schools. This program is not only for government school teachers. Even if you teach in a private school, you're also eligible and you can apply. It's true for now, I haven't seen participants from, yeah, in Cameroon, there are participants from primaries, there are alumni or alumni, there are alumni who are from private schools. Yes, when you get to the US, you realize there are some people who come from private schools. So if you are from a private school, the day you were recruited in a private school and started teaching, then you count from that day the number of years you've taught. So you will say, I will have been teaching as a certified or full-time teacher for this number of years. Excellent. It's actually for full-time teachers. It's not like you're doing teaching just part-time. No, it's for full-time teachers. It's for teachers who started teaching. You don't count the years before graduation for those who went to school. So not including practicum. Yes. Yes, here again, you have the date of birth as listed on your passport. Yes, but here you have this question, have you ever been convicted of crime? Yeah. Generally, the proof to this is what we generally call here certificate of non-conviction. Yes, have you ever been convicted of a crime? Yes, if you have committed a crime and you were convicted of, the best thing to say is yes, because if you say no, whatever the case, they're going to investigate and then they will realize that you were telling a lie. So it's better you say yes. That is not, if you were to be selected, you will be selected, investigations will be done and they will see why you were convicted. I mean, it could be that something wrong happened and you didn't commit any crime. I mean, and then they always understand that one. So if you have been convicted, say yes, don't say no, whereas you have been convicted. What other information is important for us to know about your ability status? Here, they want to talk about, like, do you have some disability? For example, you may have some mobile disability, for example, to walk or to see.
Seems your connection is, or is it mine?
What? I can't hear you, Delphine. Anything? Anything? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Robert, we can hear you very well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Robert. Right on. Hear you.
Continue, Robert. We can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. So what other information is important for us to know about your ability status? Yes, if you have any disability, that this is the moment you have to say it. Maybe you have mobility issues. You have to state it here. Maybe you have some, if you have some serious eye issues, you may say them here. Maybe you have problems speaking, you stammer and it is serious. Really, it's better you state it here if you think it's a disability. Or maybe you have some problems, health problems that you think it's worth mentioning. Anyway, talk about a disability you have here. How did you learn about the Fulbright program? Yeah, actually, we know today we have social media. We've got, it could be that it's a friend that informed you about it. It could be that you got it on Facebook.
Hello, Robert.
It could be that, yes?
Yeah, sorry to intervene. I would like to come back to that disability issue. Can I?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Okay, I would like to say that the disability issue is not a way of discriminating against you. It's a way of giving them information that can prepare them to make conditions that can be favorable to you if your application is granted.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tambe. It's quite good mentioning that, because when they say if you have a disability, you say it's not for you to be disfavored. Actually, your disability may push them to send you to a university where you will not encounter some problems because of your disability. So they will use those criteria to place you in a particular university. So
Hi, Robert. Right on.
It seems we have lost him. He's offline.
The network is quite unstable.
Yeah, we have a lot of challenges these days, especially in the economic capital. We have gone about some quarters have gone for about 3 days without electricity.
Hello.
We remind all those who just joined us to put off their video. Frank Delphine, can you put off your video? We have Adeline, please mute yourself. We also have Jumet Suzanne. Pamela, please, you guys should mute yourself in order to ameliorate on the connectivity. Thank you. We have lost. We hope he gets connectivity and joins us. Meanwhile, let's go through some of the questions. Robert was at the level of how to fill in the disability section. Someone is asking, if you don't have any, what then will you say? Yes, Sam. Hello? I hope the connectivity is. Hello, Sam.
Hello, Delphine.
Yeah. I just read it. The question goes, if you have any disability, what will you say? It's fun.
Yes.
It's new to yourself. Fun, Delphine. Can you mute yourself? Thank you. Okay. Sam. Sam.
Hello, Delphine. Hello, Delphine.
Delphine has a problem with network. She has breakups.
Yes, so I was thinking that Tambe, can you continue from there?
Well, so that, can I get a question again, please?
Yes, so can we get some questions from the participants up to this level? Why Delphine and Robert tried to sort out their connectivity?
Okay, I would like to say that at the level of the disability, if we have a candidate or any teacher who is physically challenged, it's an opportunity for you to take advantage because they give room. You know, they rather promote equality and they make sure that they put in place conditions that favors people with disability and to encourage them that despite their disability, they have a lot that they can do to motivate others and to realize their dreams. So let there be no challenge that can really disturb them in pursuing their academic dreams or for their professional development. So it's more of an advantage to be physically challenged teacher and applying. So it's always good to bring out all the challenges of the challenges that you have relating to your physical disability. Okay, Sam?
Exactly.
Hello, Tambe. I think the person is trying to find out that if you don't have any physical challenges, what do you write? What do you write on that space?
Okay, if they know if there's
on that space, I think
you leave it. There's nothing to write. There's not applicable. If there's a period not applicable, you leave it.
You leave it not applicable, or you say no.
No, it's an additional information they need. Okay.
Hello, please, can I add something on that?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, for that space, if you don't have any disability, I think you can write, I do not identify with a disability or impairment. That's what I wanted to.
Okay. I think it's perfect response as well.
Okay, we have another question. Now that Robert is not there, maybe we try to answer it for the people that asked. The question is, what if your full-time teaching is in 2 different schools? How do you present that? That's somebody who is teaching in 2 different schools at the same time.
Okay, let me attempt an answer to that. Okay, if you are teaching in 2 different, so there's a section where you have to actually fill in your timetable. But in your application, you might, when we ask for your school information, you talk about your main school, you choose the school that you talk about as your main school. And then now in filling your timetable, you could include your timetable of the other school. The important thing is that there should be consistency in your application. That will not be an issue. So you just focus on giving the name of one school, and the documents that you have to sign should come from the school that you choose, so that you don't have documents from 2 different schools. It should be from one school. Okay, that's it.
Okay, can I add something to that?
Right on, Tambe.
Okay, I would like to say that the idea of you having 2 schools, it's equally a way of them finding out how much workload you have per week. So it gives them the opportunity to discover how hardworking you are and how busy you are. So that again could be a plus to prove that you work in 2 different schools, as my colleague Raleigh said. You focus on your main school, but when it comes to filling your timetable for the week, you have to include the other school so that you could be teaching 40 hours per week or maybe 44 per week. That depends. And it equally shows how much engaging you are.
Can I come in, please?
Yes, Arabella. please come in.
Yeah, still on that issue of schools, remember, they are also looking at your longevity in service. So if you have two schools, except that you started teaching in both schools in the same year, what I'll advise you to do, maybe you look at the school. There are two things you have to consider: the number of hours you teach, and your year in service. At this point, it might somehow be difficult, but you have to try to calculate both years in service. Start with the one where you start, like you have the highest year in service. But if you see that the gap of years in service is not really much, because, for example, maybe say I'm teaching in EHS and I started teaching in EHS. I've been teaching in EHS for 10 years. I have 15 hours in EHS, and I've been teaching in another school maybe for 5 years, and I have 18 hours. If I'm the one filling, I will start where I have been teaching. I have longer years in service and lesser hours. So you have to that is how your discretion, but most often they consider those things also. So you have to look at the number of years and the number of hours that you have been teaching. And most often they go in first for your longevity in service. So you have to look at that. But if your hours in where you have been you're teaching for too long is really, really small, maybe say 8, 10, and the other one is 15 or what, please start with a school where you have the highest hours.
Is Delphine back?
Yes.
Yeah, Delphine is back. And see her.
All right, so that she can continue with the coordination.
Thank you. That were posted on the chat box have been addressed.
Again, Delphine's connectivity is not the best. We can hardly get Delphine.
On the aspect of school information, I hope everyone is getting me 5.5. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Delphine. Your network
Delphine.
is
your network is poor.
Your network is epileptic.
I am getting everyone, but I don't know if you guys are getting me.
Not very clearly.
Get you, Delphine. Your network is unstable.
The roll now to Emmanuel is a call from the Bonn University, Appalachian. I'm talking about information. You feel your school information.
Okay, thank you so much, Devin, for giving me the floor. I hope everyone is actually getting me. Please permit me just share my screen so that you can be able to follow up with the school information. So we are done with part 1 for the application process. So right now, let us look at part 2. But if you have any other questions related to what Robert presented, you can still ask and we are going to respond to you. So under part 2, we are actually filling information about your school. And one of the first questions you'll find there is your school an urban, suburban, or in an urban, suburban, or rural area? Now, you know where your school is. If your school is in Yaounde, for example, it's an urban area. If your school is in maybe in a place like Bamayo, you could say that it's in a suburban area. And then if it's in maybe like I don't know, you could also talk about the fact that it's in a rural area. So the second question is your school government run, private, or funded. That is your school government run, private, or funded another way. Now, if you are teaching in a government school, then you choose that your school is government run. If it's in a private school, you say that your school is a private school. And then the next question is your school a primary or a secondary institution? This program is basically for secondary school teachers. So you obviously choose that your school is a secondary school. And then, are you a primary or a secondary school teacher? You choose as well, secondary teacher, of course. The next question is to state the total number of students in your school. That means you have to do some checks about your school to get the total number of students in your school. It must not be exact, it must not be accurate, but it should be a number that truly would express the number of students that you have in your school. Then you should also be able to estimate the total number of full-time teachers in your school. They'll also require you to state if your school has part-time teachers. This one is just information that you just have to be filling numbers. And then grades level that you teach. Now, we have Form 1 to Upper C, and we call it forms, but in the US, they actually call it grades. So if you are teaching opposite, for example, you could say that is the 12th grade. If you are teaching one, for example, you could refer to it as the sixth grade. So if you put in the information as forms, it is also important to put it as grade level so that if
what is scalars? What is SHA?
Hello, Nguli, can you mute your mic, please? Please, we are reminded to turn off our videos and mute so that everybody can follow up. Thank you. So it's also important to write it as grades so that those in the US reviewing your application can easily understand in relation to the system that they have there. Then average number of students per class. If you teach in maybe my school like GBJ2QB where you have at least maybe 70 students per class, you can write that as your average number of students in your class. Then another question you'll be required to answer is this. In the current school year, across all semesters and courses taught, how many students do you teach in total? Now, you have to, based on your timetable, the good thing about our system is that once you have your timetable during the first term, it will hardly ever change. So if you are teaching maybe 2 Form 1 classes, maybe 5, maybe 2 Form 2 classes, that's a total number of 4 classes, which means that all through the academic year, you are teaching those 4 classes and you count the total number of students that you teach in a particular academic year and you write the total. The next question is, does your school serve an underserved or disadvantaged community? Please describe in the description of your school and community. Now, if you are teaching maybe in a school of special education, for example, then you have to specify here. But if you are teaching in a regular school, then you will not have to write anything detailed about that here. But in some regular schools, there are children maybe who have 1 or 2 disabilities. And if that is necessary, you can write that here. But if it's a regular school, there'll be no need to specify. You just say, no, my school does not serve an undeserved or disadvantaged community. Then the next question is, do students pay tuition to attend your school? The answer here should be yes, even though our government secondary schools, the fees is basically very small, but it's still important to specify that yes, children actually pay tuition to attend the school. And for private schools, obviously, they pay tuition. And when you are, the next one is, if so, how much is the tuition? So you have to include the amount. Now, it is important to include the amount in US dollars. If the fees, for example, is maybe 15,000, you have to multiply that by the current exchange rate for CFA and dollars, and then you write that as the tuition. Then the last part of this, or the last question under this section is this. in less than 200 words, please specify how, please tell us briefly about your school and the community itself. That's who are the students. Now, in this first part of this question, you have to talk about the ages of the students, how old they are. You talk about the background of the students. What are the kind of families they come from? What is the general occupation of their parents? What is the financial ability of their parents? Do the children have books? Do they have the resources? Are they limited in financially in any way? You have to specify all those kind of things about your students. Then what do they do when they graduate or complete their studies at your school? In our schools, when children graduate, they're expected maybe to write entrance examinations to get into the university. So you have to specify this, that after graduation, that most of them desire to go to college. And then you could talk about the fact that maybe the opportunities after high school are limited based on our concourse that we have to write, and some of the challenges that the students can face when they actually graduate from your school. Then what kind of work do their parents do? So you have to specify this as well. Then how are students selected to attend your school? In government schools, to get into Form 1, you have to go through an interview. So in writing this 200-word essay, you also have to specify that for children to get admission into your school, particularly in Form 1, they need to go through an interview. Then please briefly share any other important information about the school community there. So here as well, you could talk about some of the needs that your school have, that you attending this program could help you to meet the need. If, for example, teachers in your school have a challenge using technology, you should mention it here. If, for example, children are maybe not very interested in education, or they are discouraged, don't take their studies serious, or it's a problem of discipline, you could talk about some of the things that being part of this program, you could use to actually solve some of these problems in your school. So this is a very important part of the application. You should identify some issues around your school or in your community that attending the program can actually help you to solve. Again, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat and we are going to answer. I'm going to hand over the microphone to Delphine so that we continue with the session. Thank you.
I don't know if I'm being heard.
You still have problem with your network, Delphine. It's very unstable.
Yes. Please, Tambe, can you take over from Delphine until she adjusts the problem of network? Her network is very poor, and we hardly get what she is saying.
Hello, President. I am back. Would you permit me to conclude?
Let's first of all handle the issue with the moderator whose connectivity is poor. I'm trying to switch from her to Tambe. Let her see how she can adjust it. And then from there, Tambe can grant you permission to conclude. And then we take a few questions before we go to presentation 3. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sami. Mr. President, thank you so much for letting me get through this while waiting for Delphine to get over her network challenges. Okay, thank you very much for that presentation, Emmanuel. And it is for us to look at some of the questions that our participants may have. So Sam, I'm using my phone here. If you can read any of those questions that might have been asked or written, let us know. But while you go through those questions, I would equally like to make some contribution to what Emmanuel presented in relation to the number of teachers in your school, the number of students you teach, and all of that. Here, I would like to say that though it could be approximative, But it's important for you to go to your school and get accurate information on that. Because if you try to be approximative, then you may not have a consistent number recorded in your mind, so that on the day of interview, you may find yourself giving figures that are disproportionate. So it's important that you go to your school and get information from your principal, from your vice principal, as far as the number of teachers, maybe part-time teachers, and all of that. So that should be accurate, in my opinion. Then with respect to, hello, are you getting me?
Yeah, we are getting you. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, with respect to the challenges that your school may face, which you intend to be part of the program to come back and solve, these challenges are always grouped at the level of technology, at the level of gender, at the level of inclusion, promoting inclusion, at the level of trying to fight against poverty. Your children don't have books in school. So if you try to look at this problem from these key aspects, I think it's going to help you a long way, so that you don't really say things like difficulties, try to get so many problems all bundled in one. You have to be very specific to a particular problem which you think this program may help you address. So as Emmanuel said, if you have your teachers don't know how to use technology, then you can say that, fine, this is a challenge that you have, so that this program will help you solve that problem. I think I should add to that. And then again, let's be, I think this issue of gender too is very sensitive. The fact that we have girls who don't continue their education, especially because of the culture. If you have such a problem, I think this is the right moment for you to point it out. Because so what do your children do when they complete high school? Most of them don't go continue their education. They are bound to get married. And how are we going to help solve this problem? So that again is a community problem, which you think that being part of this program will help you solve. Okay, Sam, any question from any participant?
Yes.
Okay, then
thank you, Akko.
Okay, you're welcome back.
Some of the questions. Someone, Nkonge, just wanted to find out if a regional pedagogic inspector can apply for this program. And the simple answer is no, because how do you present a full-time timetable? So you should ask yourself, as a pedagogic inspector, if you have a full-time timetable, because you should be actively teaching. So you can think about that. Another question comes up from Sam Clementine, that what if your school is a bilingual school? Do you give, for the population that is being asked, do you give the total number of, say, students or staff for both the Anglophone section and the Francophone section, or just for the section in which you belong? Yeah, I give the microphone back to Emmanuel.
All right. Thank you for that question, Timothy. Okay.
Total number.
To answer this question, you actually include the total number of students from both sections. You are attending the program not just to benefit maybe the English-speaking section of your school, is to influence the whole school. So the total number of students should include both sections. Total number of teachers should include both sections. So it's about the whole school, not just the number of teachers in a particular section of the school.
Okay, I hope it's clear there. Okay, we move to another interesting question by Karen Mukwi, who says, I don't know, he or she is in a public school that is non-functional. You know our situation in Cameroon. His school is non-functional, yet he teaches in a private school full-time. So what does he use as his school? In my humble opinion, I will prefer you go with your private school, because that is where you actively teach. That's why they say you must be teaching actively. And for this academic year, I don't know if some other person has something to add to that. Yes. Is Jimmy on?
Okay, just to add to what has been said, yeah, you should use the private school. And given that you might not be able to have the other documents, there are several documents that you need to put together, maybe leave approval forms, reference letters, and so on and so forth. If you cannot get those from the government school, then talking about your government school will bring some inconsistency in your application. So there should be consistency. So you should use the private school so that every other information and document you provide should be from the private school as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. Jimmy, are you on? We need a hosting right for Robert, please. So while we wait for Jimmy to
yes, I'm giving the hosting rights, and then all of us
Robert
are administrators, and we can provide the rights as well.
Right. We will now. We are going to the next. Okay. Thank you very much. So Robert, you can finish your presentation.
Thank you very much, Delphine, for giving me the floor. I'm sorry, I have a little issue with connectivity. Actually, I didn't have enough data. The time for me to connect again, it took a long time. I'm sorry for that. So I think I was at this level where it was, how did you learn about the Fulbright program? So we have social media, but specify where you learn it from. You have email, you have friends. Yes, so it could be a colleague. Yeah, actually they use the information for the publicity. When they want to share the program next time, they know how they are going to use it, the channels they are going to use to be able to advertise the program. Yeah, next thing is your contact information, mobile phone. Yes, at this level, remember it's always good to put the country code before putting the number. So it's either +237 before or 00237. Then you put your number. Always start with 00237 or +237. Then your email address. Yes, it's very important, and verify if you have put a functional email address. I've run a lot of programs where people apply, and then when you want to send them an email, you send and then you realize that there is a failure delivery. And when you check, you realize that the email that the person put was a wrong email. I mean, the person didn't put it well. For example, instead of putting @gmail.com, the person forgets and then just put Gmail, or the person put mail instead of putting Gmail. I mean, there are some issues like those. Check very well that the email address that you're putting in is your correct email address. Then if you have an alternate email address, it's always good to put it, because at times when they send the email and they realize, as I'm saying, that they have a failure delivery, they're going to send you the email through the alternate email address. So you have the home mailing address. Most of we don't have mails delivered to us at home, but elsewhere it is done. If you have that, one never knows. You put then the street, the building, and all the apartment number and name. If you know that, you put, but if you don't know, you can put the name of your quarter. If you know, maybe your city or town is Yaounde, maybe the street is if you don't know, you could put DMRC if you live in DMRC or Damas or anything at that level. Yes, but if you know the specific information, put it street, building, apartment number, and name. If you know, you put it. But if you don't know, you can put the name of your quarter where you live. Then a city or town, I said Yaounde, it could be Bafan, it could be Poli, it could be Cholire, that depends where you are. And then you have the region. the province or the state. Here in Cameroon, we have our regions. We have 10 of them. So you either putting the Adamawa, the far north, the southwest, the northwest, the center, yes. Then the postal code index, yeah, at this level, it's just the 237 for the postal code index, 237. And then the country, our country is Cameroon, as we all know. Then the next thing is about the school information. What's the name of your school? Don't mind whether you say it in English or in French, it's the same school. So you could say Lycée Bilingue de Pitois, or you say Government Bilingual High School Pitois. You write what is better for you, or what you like, or the name that is commonly used.
I think you should go and sleep.
Yes. Yes. Karen, please, could you mute? Karen Muki, please. Karen Muki, please. Yes, thank you. So I was talking about the name of the school. You can write it in English, you can write that one in French. It actually doesn't matter. Yes, use the name that is you like, or the one that is commonly used. Then the region, the province, or the state at this level is where the school is located, and then in which region. Then the country is still Cameroon here for us. So the teaching disciplines, yes, many people have a lot of worries here, because teaching discipline, what discipline is your current primary teaching assignment? So the primary teaching assignment is actually the subject that you teach, and in which you have the most number of hours. And you have, for example, if I take my case, for example, I'm an English and French language teacher, and it might happen that in one school, in my school, I teach both languages, English and French. Then I have 16 hours, for example, of English, and then I have 3 hours of French. Then my current primary teaching assignment will be the subject will be English, because I have got 16. And then the other discipline you teach, mine might be French. In some schools, some people are chemistry teachers, but they do handle some hours of biology. So your primary teaching assignment will be chemistry. Then your other discipline might be biology. I've seen that in some schools. In others too, I've seen some geology teacher, they are assigned to teach either biology or geography. They have the primary teaching discipline, which is like the geology. Then they have hours of geography. The other discipline will be geography. Yes, and at this level, remember that this program is for science teachers, that is math, chemistry, biology, the science, physics, this science subjects that we know. And the language teachers being English to French speaking students, and French to English speaking students. Yeah, but it might happen that it's also English to English speaking Cameroonians. Yes, I've seen such cases, but mostly it's Anglais and French to English speaking Cameroonians, and then English to French speaking Cameroonians. But generally both. You could also be teaching English to English speaking Cameroonians. It's okay. But if you're teaching French, that is French to Francophones, then you're not qualified. Then we also have social sciences, subjects like history, yes, geography, yes, social sciences. If you're a social science teacher, then you're also qualified. So it is languages, mathematics, sciences, and social sciences. And then the other day when we had this program with the embassy, Jessica also mentioned the other foreign languages like Spanish, Chinese, German, but those are foreign languages, yes. But provided you can do everything in English, you can, because you apply in English and your interview will be in English, and your training, your program will also be in English. So if you're a Spanish teacher, then you can speak English, no problem. Anyway, you have to write the TOEFL exam. So that's it about the teaching discipline, primary and secondary. Yes, I think this is where I end, and I will hand over to Delphine for the continuation. If at all there are questions, you can ask me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to end. I'm very sorry for what happened. Thank you very much.
It's okay. We are glad you had the chance to finish your presentation. After all, it was made to be delivered to applicants. So we thank you for that effort that you made in order to close up. We go through some questions. Somebody, Ndong Clement is asking, can school admin who are also teaching apply? So if they are teaching, the teaching must be their primary occupation, not the administration. So I hope it's clear. They need to show proof of active teaching and a total number of teaching hours, which is reflected by the US educational system. So the administrator might present his teaching periods as a part-time, but what we are talking about here is a full-time, because you need to establish a full-time timetable. So will you, being an administrator and teaching, will that permit you to produce one? That's a question you should ask yourself. Thank you. Bianca, yeah.
Yes, I wanted to say, if you're an administrator and you think you want to apply, there are some administrators in some places who are the only teachers, even, or they are only 2 teachers and they teach full time. They really have 16 or even 18 period. I would just want to say that at that level, the best thing is to give just your timetable and then forget about mentioning those, the fact that you are an administrator. You may just want to mention it as some extra things you do apart from teaching.
Sure, thank you for that clarification. So I hope Ndong Clement, I hope it is clear there, because you need to establish a timetable. So if you have a number of hours that will permit you to reflect that you are a full-time teacher, then go ahead. Yes, Arabella.
Yes, Delphine, thank you. I just wanted to say that, yeah, even though they are considering their timetable, they should put that in the back of their mind that there is a place where they have to fill their leadership position. Talk about what they are already doing. So they will carry that to that part. I'm sure that should be part 9. They'll have to take that to that part. They should not just throw it away, because they might, at one point, they might feel it's not very important. So if you have administrative role, and as you said, as Robert said, you're also like the only teacher teaching in that school, maybe English language. So take your timetable. But when you are feeling part 5, when we're doing the part 5, you see where part 9, you see where that one will come in your administrative position, your leadership position, where you're taking the lead in the community. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I think just one thing before you continue, just that there are other exchange programs that are more suitable for administrators and inspectors. So if you need more information on that, we can always get information about that to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. There is a question by Bianca Njinchuki, and she says, teaching in both public and private schools, but she has more hours in the private than the public. What do you advise to do? Which one should she use as her main school? Is it the private or the public?
Delphine?
Yeah.
Delphine? Yes. She's a government school teacher, and then she should use the main school, the public school, as her main school, because she's teaching in both, but she's a government school teacher. There is an area on the timetable. Do not bother about that one. There is a timetable. There is a form for the timetable. You have to put all the hours of teaching. There, they will actually see that you teach in both the private and in the government school, and they will see where you teach many hours. So don't bother about whether you teach many. You're a government school teacher, write government school teacher there, and then at the level of the timetable, you really show how your timetable looks like from both schools. You don't just put one from one school, no, you put everything. Even if you teach in 5 schools, you put everything. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Bianca has understood at that point, but when we come to timeline, you will understand better. Let's move on to the next slot of CAFTAL, Sam Canisius. He is an alumna, Robert, and he is a 2017 Fall Fellow. Over to you, Sam. He will be talking about the next slot, which is background considerations.
Yes, thank you, Delphine. Thank you, the moderator. I actually enjoy the way you are handling the session, and welcome once more to all the participants. I am Sam Canisius Asimbong. I teach mathematics in Government Bilingual High School in Nyala. I am an alumni of the Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement Program 2017 at the University of Massachusetts in Lower United States. I am the current president of the Cameroon Fulbright Tea Alumni Association, CAFTAL. In a couple of minutes, I have to talk about the background considerations on this application. But before I begin with the questions, I will table a few apologies. One, I will not be able to share my screen because we don't have lights here, so I'm using just my phone. The second one is my battery is almost less than 10%. And at any moment, if my phone has to go without any signal, Arabella will be coming in to assist me in this particular presentation. I don't know whether you can get me.
Yeah, we are getting you 5 on 5.
Yes, so I will hastily rush into the questions. So the first part of the questions here is: has a teacher at your school participated in the Teaching Excellence and Achievement, which is T program, and the International Leaders in Education program, the Fulbright Teaching Excellence and Achievement program, or the Fulbright Distinguished Award in Teaching program? If yes, what is the teacher's name, the program, and the dates of participation? So here, we just need to be honest when we are doing the application. You just need to find out. I think this question also seeks to find out whether we actually have a mastery of our environment, our colleagues. Remember that there is a database that contains some of this information. So just find out, just indicate if there is anybody in your school that has participated in any of this program. If there is nobody, then you simply say no. There is no problem. And I don't think there is no disadvantage if anyone has participated in the program for you to think that if you say yes, you will not be selected. No, everybody has equal chance of being selected in this program. It depends on how you present your own case. So that is what we have to look at in this question. Search within your school and find out if there is any other person who has participated in any of these programs. Now, the second question here, and in that part, you have to give the person's name, and then you find out the dates and the particular program. So you have to provide that information. So if you say yes, it means you have to provide the name, and then the dates and the program that the person participated, a specific program. If you say no, then you don't have to go into any of those questions. So the second question is, are you currently or have you previously been a teacher with the English Access Mentorship Program? So this is another program. So if you have once been, you say yes, and then you have to go into further questions. But if no, you simply say no, and then
I think we've lost Sam.
Yes.
Sam, are you on?
I think the 10% is over. Maybe Arabella.
I think we lost him.
So Arabella, you can come up for help.
Arabella, you can come in.
All right. Okay, so he was already answering, are you currently or have previously been a teacher with the English Access Micro Scholarship? As he said, if you have been a teacher, yes. If you haven't been, no. The next question is, are you currently applying to any other US government-sponsored program, including online programs? Well, if you're doing that, yes. If you're not applying, no. We'll move to the next. Are you currently applying, or do you plan to apply to any professional development program in other countries for the time period of this program? If you're doing so, yes. And if you're not doing so, no. And it is very important to indicate, because they might select you for both programs, and it happens that you maybe, for example, you're selected for the T and selected from another program, maybe in Germany or even still in the US, and you turn down the application at that time. At one point, they'll consider it being selfish because they asked you this question and you didn't reply, you didn't say so, and therefore you wasted a chance, somebody else's chance, because these things are planned to benefit every other person in the community. So please, if you are at that time, you think that there is a program that you'll be attending or you've applied in another program, which it falls in this period, it's better you indicate. So we'll move to the next. Have you previously submitted an application but were not yet selected for either the T or Fulbright T program? The T program became Fulbright T in 2019. All right, so if you had submitted an application before, you said yes, and if no, you said no. Remember that this is a system, as is an electronic system that control this. So if you lie, they might find out from their system when they try to when they generate some of the names. By the time I was selected, I think that was my third time of applying. So I indicated that I had applied previously for the program, but I was not selected. The next thing, have you traveled outside your home country before? If you have traveled outside your home country, you indicate yes. And if you haven't, you indicate no. Even if it's in the neighboring Nigeria, you indicate it's traveling outside of your home country. The next, it says in a chart below, please fill in any previous professional trip you have taken outside of your home country. Please only include trips for work and exchange programs. Also include any trips sponsored by the US government. Please provide as many details as possible in the notes column. If you have extensive international travel experience, please only provide information on travel within the past 8 years. All right, so there in the column, you have visited countries, dates of travel, reasons for work. Here, I will sincerely tell you that even though you may have traveled here also, if it's country with that is not in the US, that they can easily track you, please don't fill as many countries as possible, because especially for some of us who attend other scholarship programs or training programs out of the country, at one point they consider that you've already had a lot of leadership experience and they maybe give it to another person, give the chance, because up here there is an indication, and there's somewhere they indicated where they prefer people who don't have maybe a lot of traveling experience, most especially to the US and US sponsored programs. Normally, even with the US here, embassy here, when selecting, they always consider, for example, if you have attended the Fulbright and you've attended SUSI, going in for the next program, most often, I don't even waste my time, because it's by chance they will choose you, because it's almost the same leadership experience. Even though this one is teaching, the other one might be yearly, maximum, sometimes yearly. But if you have to go to a third, and they'll have to tell you that they have had a lot of leadership experience, so they should give another person who also have to impact his community, because you're just accumulating the leadership activities or leadership qualifications that you have. So here, be very careful too, it's very tricky there. But if you think you have traveled to the US that can easily track you, you fill in those information. Have you ever been convicted of a crime? Yes or no? That one has already been said by Robert. Please, if you have convicted, they're just telling you, give the circumstance that you were convicted. They just try to explain. As Robert said, it might be something that there was an error. It might be that another person had to get you arrested. You know how we are funny. Human beings are funny. So just describe the circumstance that led to your conviction. Delphine, I don't know if we're supposed to answer the educational background today. If not, then I'm going to hand over.
Okay, thank you. Let's go through some pertinent questions. Thank you, Arabella, for that compliment to Sam. And we hope the information went through. We have an interesting question here talking about and she says, what if you are trained as a chemistry teacher, but in your school you are teaching another subject like biology or mathematics? Will that affect the application at the level of submitting your certificate? Are you not teaching the chemistry, which is your trained subject? If you are teaching the chemistry, which is your trained subject, then go for it. You are teaching the chemistry. Because you cannot go for the application and state that you are a chemistry teacher and your timetable does not show any chemistry that you are teaching. I don't know if I make sense there. Someone can add to that.
All right, let me come in there, Delphine. So if you look at the question, the person says he's normally trained to teach chemistry, but he's teaching biology. I think. Which other subject did he mention?
Maths.
Okay, biology, math. So remember that there is a sciences, chemistry, biology, math. As long as your timetable proves that you teach this subject, you indicate that you are a science teacher. I think in my cohort, there are some people who teach, and even in my school where I was teaching, they have what they call science. They don't separate it the way we have biology, chemistry, physics. They have the science subject. Yes, they have the science subject where all of these things are included. You have, when they talk about sciences, biology, chemistry, put together, maths, everything. So, but if you are teaching chemistry, if you are trained to teach chemistry and you're teaching biology, that still falls under the sciences, as long as you can provide the timetable, the school timetable with your name on it, indicating the hours and the classes that you're teaching. So that is what you will present for the application. Thank you.
Okay, I hope it is clearer now. Sam. So if you are not teaching chemistry, you are instead teaching mathematics, go in for mathematics. It will not penalize you. Another question is coming up. Do accounting teachers stand a chance? Asking because I don't see where accounting falls in the listed categories. Accounting is not a social science, is it?
I don't think
we have an alumna who did economics.
Yeah, Fabiola is an accounting teacher.
So you have a
advantage.
Okay, so German Mesue, you can go in for the application, don't be afraid. Okay, in order to catch up with time, we will. Yep.
Yeah, I would just like to say, if somebody is doing accounting and they want to apply, the best thing to do is maybe you can get into contact with Fabiola, because I actually do not know how she got there. I remember she said, I don't know how she said that she mentioned it in her application, and it would appear she was, apart from accounting, teaching English language too. So the person needs maybe to get back to her to get more information about how she went with her application. Thank you.
In addition, I would like that, that we equally have to link the person to Fabiola. So if the person is really interested, we link her to Fabiola. Fabiola may be of help, okay?
Yeah, we assigned Emmanuel to do just that. Thank you. Another short question. Are the French teachers applying? Yes, of course. French as a foreign language. Is that, Robert?
Yes, French as a foreign language, meaning that you're teaching French to English-speaking students, not French to French-speaking students. French to English-speaking students, yes.
Oh, that is clearer now. Okay, we move on to the last slot. And this slot talks about educational background. Meanwhile, Arabella, did you read through the program? I am seeing Lydia. Lydia, are you on?
I'm on.
Okay, so I will present the next presenter, who is one of the latest from the US. She is Ndolo Etomenongene Lydia, and she did her Fulbright T program at Georgia State University, Atlanta, fall 2022 cohort. And she will be presenting the educational background. You're welcome, Lydia. Over to you.
All right. Thank you, Delphine. Thank you, the crew. Hello, everyone, and I'm happy that the program is moving on smoothly. And my name is Ndolo Etomenongene Lydia. I'm a mathematics teacher from Government Bilingual High School, Daido, Douala. I'm a Fulbright teaching excellent achievement program called for 2022 Georgia State University. Please, before I continue, I'll plead with maybe anyone, Emmanuel or Delphine, to help share Sam. I'm using my phone. So I will not be able to share my screen. So
it's okay.
Please, someone help me share the screen. Okay.
Is sharing.
So the part
It seems we are having some connectivity problem, or is it at my end?
Okay.
Move on, please.
Okay. Are you guys getting me?
Just continue.
Okay, so we are on the education.
I hope. Hello. I hope Atembola is on standby.
Yes, I'm on. Her network is really terrible.
Yeah. Lydia, your network is not the best.
I see the list your educational background. Yeah, the name my network is steady. I have serious issue network. Can I ride on? Is that okay?
It comes in patches. Hello? Hello? Are you with us? Arabella, are you with us?
Delphine, I think we can continue.
Yeah. Arabella, over.
Can we have... Okay.
Robert, if you want to present, it's okay. I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Hello?
Can I continue?
Hello? Are you getting me now?
Yeah, are you guys getting me?
We are not getting you, so we wish Arabella to pick up.
Delphine can help me, please.
Yes.
If you guys are not getting me, Delphine or Arabella, you guys can help me. It's okay.
Arabella, over.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So we are on part 4. Please, excuse me. Let me just send the kids out of my room. They are making. All right, sorry, I sent the kids away. All right, so we're on part 4 presently, which is our educational background. I say, please leave your educational background. And the first one, we have the school institution. That's where we study. Years of study, number of years we study. Have the field of study. I think those ones are very easy for us. I did English modern letters in my degrees. Anyway, it depends on what you're using. You said I use my DPES 2, so there's a degree and my DPES 2. So both in my degree and DPES 2, I did English modern letters. So that's my field of study. Those of you who are doing chemistry, that is your field of study. And what do you have? You have a degree, you have a certificate. If you have a degree, you choose degree, you have a certificate, you choose. Robert, maybe when I'm finished here, you have to indicate what they talk about the certificate here. If our diploma, for example, those of us who went to Economa, diploma is considered certificate. The year that your degree was awarded, here you're talking about the degree when you went to the university. And here, the next thing is the highest degree awarded. So if you have a master's, you indicate the master's. If you have just your highest degree is your BA, you indicate your BA. The next is what is your highest level of educational attainment. You have the boxes where you have to tick. You have the bachelor's degree, you have the master's degree, you have the doctoral degree, you have others. So many people are doing other online studies. You best know how to put those qualifications there. You are permitted to write, to actually type in something. The The next, what degree qualification is required to be in your home community?
To be a teacher in your home
To be a
community.
teacher, sorry. What degree qualification is required to be a teacher in your home community? We have the DPS 1 and the DPS 2 in Cameroon. Please confirm that you have obtained the obligatory degree qualification required in your home community to be a qualified teacher. So they're talking about your training, professional training that lets you to becoming a qualified teacher. As I said, it's either your DPS 1 or your DPS 2. Foreign language proficiency. Please rate your proficiency for each language you know in the categories of reading, writing, comprehension, and speaking. Please rate on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the lowest, being low, and 5 being high. So I don't think there's something, the questions here are not complete. Anyway, let me just read what I have. Scale 1, low, 2, low, intermediate, 3, intermediate, 4, high, intermediate, 5, high, advanced, and fluent. If you're not, for example, maybe teaching, anyway, I cannot say that because there are chemistry teachers who are very fluent. If I want to look at Mr. Akaba, I think Mr. Akaba writes poetry more than I do. He writes grammar more. Sometimes when I read his essays, I can only put him at advanced or fluent. So you know yourself, you best know yourself, you best know your proficiency. So you have to indicate. I think that's that for that section. Robert, is Robert there?
Yes, I am there.
Yes, let's come back to where we have degree certificate. I know you do those international trainings where we put our certificate. Our DPS 2 is a diploma. I'm sure, I don't know, consider certificate.
Yeah, actually here you would realize that it is written, was it a degree or was it a certificate? So you were in which school? I mean, you were at, imagine that you're doing a professional training where they are teaching you tailoring. That is the school where you went to. And then at the end, you didn't have a degree, but you had a professional certificate on sewing, for example. So that would be a certificate, but it's not a degree because it wasn't done at the university. So if it's a university, you will say it's a degree, but if it's in a professional school where you did maybe tailoring, handicraft, then you have but a certificate. Yeah. Thank you.
Can I add there?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, as far as the teacher's diploma is concerned, it is a certificate. So we consider as a certificate, it certifies that you went to a professional school. So Arabella said the DPS 1, DPS 2, so that's a French acronym. So it's always good to where we have DPS 2, which is secondary and high school teachers diploma. And the other one is just secondary school diploma. So I think that is, so we should avoid the French acronym so that they may want to find out what does that mean. So I thought I should just clarify that. Okay?
Thank you for that.
Mr. Tambe, please, Delphine.
Yes.
Yes, so generally when it's DPS 2, I actually write DPS 2 because that is what is commonly known here. You write DPS 2, but in bracket, you say secondary and high school teacher diploma. Actually, that's what you because that is what is commonly known in Cameroon. Remember, they might want to refer to, and they want to write in the ministry and say, and the person does not know what you're talking about. So it's better you put DPS, but in bracket, you say what it means, you explain, you say secondary and high school diploma. And I also wanted to say
lovely, Robert.
yes, Thank you. I also would like to say that your DPS2 can both serve as a degree and serve as that way, because I got a question from Sam Clementine. Some people went to university for 3 years and then they graduated from École Normale and they had their DPS2, which is taken as the equivalent of BA, 3 years of studies in the university. So you could take that as the degree you had when you went to ENS Bambili. And then when you go down, when they ask which certificate is needed to become a teacher in your community, you will still write the same thing, DPS, and then you say it. So when up you put DPS, then you specify in bracket what it is, and then you also specify that it is a professional equivalent of the Bachelor of Art degree. So that would just be the difference you're going to make there. Thank you.
Okay, Robert, we could equally have a scenario whereby at ENS Bambili, I'm talking about the lower teachers training college, where you have after your 3 years, 2 years, you have your diploma, then you go for a 3rd year, then you have your degree. So you have, so those are obtained at different times and different years. So you could specify that. So there's a degree that came later. So you specify that particular year for the diploma, then a year later, come under another line, then you specify that degree. That too can go.
Yes. Thank you for the precision.
Okay, thank you for that interesting presentation. We thank God that He made it possible for us to trash the 4 slots that were prepared for today. And we hope we have addressed so many expectations. We reached out to every worry that were presented for today's slot. We have someone sign up who wishes to know about interviews. So we will want to clarify that we are still on the first stage, the application. Teachers haven't been selected yet, so we can't talk about the interview. When we have crossed the bridge for application, then we are going to organize another session for interview. For now, we are dealing with the application, just the application. Thank you, and we hope you understand that. Please.
Hello, Delphine.
Yes.
In perspective, with regards to interview, let's just tell our applicants that they should be very careful that what they are applying, they should know that when the moment comes for selection, they should be able to respond to all that they have said in the application. So it should not be contrary. So that is just in perspective. But you are right to say that it's not here for interview now.
Thank you. Sam Clementine, it's like you are confused there. We have 1 and DPS 2. DPS 1 is an equivalence to bachelor. DPS 2 is an equivalence to master's at the level of the US system of education. Thank you. Okay. As you all will notice, we are in some 3 minutes past the hour that we were supposed to close. And we want to thank all the participants, everybody, the presenters, and also connectivity. Though we had some fishy business, we still drew to the end of today. We have 2 more slots, 2 more sessions to go tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. We hope more and more participants or teachers will join us on board. We want to thank everyone, most especially Open Dreams, who gave us the opportunity to have this session through their Zoom link. We wish that everybody puts on their video so that, Jimmy, are you with us?
Yes, I'm right here, thank you.
Is Jimmy on? Yes. So everybody can put on their video so that Jimmy can give us some shots.
Hello, Delphine.
Yeah.
I don't think putting on my video on my part will be the best. I already have face mask on. So please permit me. I already have my evening face mask on.
My head, just see my head, that's all. Let me hide the other part.
Well, we already at home.
All
So
teachers, invite your colleague, and don't forget to join us tomorrow same time for the next part of the application, and you won't regret. It is to facilitate the filling of your application form. Thank you. Jimmy, are we good to go?
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yes, we are good to go. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Good night, sir.